Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raider Report. Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports. Coming up here on today's show, I'm going to be looking at starting caliber free agents that the Las Vegas Raiders could go out and sign. Before I get into all of that, I have a challenge for all y'all. And somebody the other day was like, what would it take for you to shave your face? Well, how about this? If we get to 2,000 followers on Rumble, I'm going to rock a mustache. And I'll rock a mustache for the entire month of June. We need 141 more to go. So tell your friends, tell your family, rumble.com/Raiders Report. I want to be rocking a mustache at a wedding this weekend, which is really going to embarrass Alex, which, believe me, I'm all about. So we don't have these players ranked in any particular order. I'm just going to go through all 5 of these guys. The first name that I'm bringing up here is Daryl Williams, the offensive tackle free agent. He's the top right tackle still available. And to me, I understand that the Raiders have confidence in Alex Leatherwood, and I understand that the Raiders have confidence in Brandon Parker, which, from all reports, both players have been looking good. Cool. I want Daryl Williams because he is a clear upgrade over both of those players that I just mentioned. That's not ripping on either of those guys. It's just you're making your offensive line better. One of the biggest issues last season for the Raiders was the right side of the offensive line. I believe if you sign Daryl Williams, you put him at right tackle, that then helps Alex Leatherwood be a better right guard. It also allows Brandon Parker to be a backup swing tackle, which I think is what he is meant to do in the NFL. He's not a starting caliber player. And believe it or not, Colt Miller, Daryl Williams, that would be probably one of the best two tackle combos in the league. And if Derek Carr is upright and he can hit Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, that makes me feel a lot better. When you look at Daryl Williams' PFF grades, we're going to look at 2020 and 2021 because it's important. In 2020, the Buffalo Bills used Daryl Williams as a right tackle and a right tackle only. In terms of snaps played, 1,050. His overall grade, 79.4. Run blocking grade of 76.9. A pass blocking grade of 80.0. A lot of people don't consider Daryl Williams a right tackle because Buffalo last season split him up between tackle and right guard. And every season that he's ever played tackle, right tackle, he's been definitely way above average. When he's played right guard, he is just slightly an above average right guard. He played in 1,172 snaps last season. He had an overall grade of 67.5, run blocking grade of 60.3, a pass blocking grade of 72.4. Here's something that's going to just scare the hell out of you. Daryl Williams, whether it be an offensive tackle or a right guard, is better than both Brandon Parker and Alex Leatherwood. So if you have the money, Las Vegas, let's make it happen. So what I want you to do is this. If you think that the Raiders, and when I say back up your guy, I'm talking about Derek Carr. I'm talking about all the players already on this team because we're still a few key pieces away from chasing that Super Bowl. We are a playoff caliber team. But you want to be a Super Bowl caliber team? Go out and sign a big name free agent. So if that's what you want, like this video right now. So we start on the offensive side. Now we're going to kick on over to the defensive side of the football. I'm going to go with Ndamukong Suh, defensive tackle free agent. And I have been told that the Raiders are interested in Suh. They're doing their homework at the defensive tackle position. I was talking to Jonathan Hankins, and he says he's feeling better. He's going to be ready by the regular season. But you know what? Hankins is dealing with an injury right now. Bilal Nichols is dealing with a knee injury. He's not going to be ready until the regular season. That's not a good sign. Suh hasn't missed a game since 2011. He's missed 2 games his entire career. He is a bad, bad man, literally born to be a Raider. And I have confidence in our 2 young rookies, in Neil Farrell Jr. and Matthew Butler. I'm hoping that Vernon Butler can take a step forward. I'm hoping Kendall Vickers gets a shot. But realistically, the Raiders are probably going to keep 5 to 6 defensive tackles. I don't see 5 or 6 defensive tackles on that graphic right now that I am really all that confident in, which means to me, I'm kind of sitting here being like, DT might be the biggest Raiders need if the season were to start today. So you have Ndamukong Suh, 36 years old, 27 tackles last season, 7 tackles for loss, 13 quarterback hits, 6 sacks. Back-to-back seasons of 6 sacks. He can still get it done, and he can be that leader for Neil Farrell Jr. He can be that leader for Matthew Butler. There is not many people in NFL history that have played in 191 games played. So maybe he might not be to the caliber of player of what we've seen in years past, but his knowledge, you saw it last year with Casey Hayward. Having veterans can really help out some younger players. And no matter what you think about Ndamukong Suh, he would be a top 3 defensive tackle on this team right now. So what is it about? It's always about chasing that trophy. It's about just win, baby. And if you see a big-time team need, you need to be a grown-up, Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler, and say, hey, no disrespect to the players on the team right now, but we're here to win. We're here to compete. We're here to chase that Lombardi. And how do you do that? By improving every single day. So what do you think right now is the Raiders' biggest need? Right tackle, offensive guard, linebacker, DT, corner? If it's another position, let me know in the comments section. I'm going to say defensive tackle, which for those of you that watch the show a lot, that speaks volumes because of how unconfident I am that Leatherwood and Brandon Parker can play right tackle. I'll say DT. Then it's RT, but you guys let me know. We are going to stick here with the defensive side of the football. I'm going to bring up a new name that was mentioned to me this weekend. It's Anthony Barr, and he can still be, I would say, a do-it-all linebacker. Former captain of the Minnesota Vikings was released this offseason because the contract was a little bit too high. Is he going to be the four-time Pro Bowler that you saw back in 2015 and 2018? No, right? And it's a lot of the reasons that I brought up with Suh. Still a good freaking player, though. Is he someone who gives you all the worlds, right? Like Denzel Perriman to me, run stopper. Jayon Brown, coverage linebacker. Then you have Divine Diablo, who I think has the opportunity to be both. And if I was somebody that thinks that Divine Diablo can be a player who can cover, who can get after the passer, who can also rush the quarterback, I would love for him to learn behind Anthony Barr. Because to me, Anthony Barr is a do-it-all linebacker. So when you look at his PFF grades, last season, 62.9, run defense grade of 54.2. The rushing ability is what I love at 72.3. The coverage at 62.9. Barr is still a good player and would set the bar pretty high for a lot of Raiders linebackers. Da-da. So I don't have an interview coming out with Barr, but I do have some Raiders interviews coming up a little bit later on in the week. We're going to be talking to Jonathan Hankins, Colton Miller, Kendall Vickers, Andre James. So if you're curious of what the defensive line looks like, if you're curious what the offensive line looks like, hit that subscribe button. But on top of that, I've put out a video every single day on this channel for 3 straight years. It's a lot of videos. I get that. We're the #1 most watched Raiders channel on YouTube because I got that commitment to excellence, but I also know the people who watch these shows in June, you guys have the commitment to excellence. So I promise you, I'm going to bring that energy. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss anything. Let's talk about the next player here. It's Trey Flowers, starting caliber free agent targets. These aren't the best free agents out there. They're simply players where if the Raiders go out and sign them, they could be players that have a chance to start. I'm not saying that Trey Flowers is a better player than Max Crosby or Chandler Jones. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I do know this, though. He played his best football with some of the New England Patriots coaches that are now on our team in 2016 to 2018. Also, versatility. Not necessarily that Trey Flowers is versatile, but Chandler Jones is. If I have an opportunity to put Max Crosby, Trey Flowers as your defensive ends, and then I can stand up Chandler Jones to play even more outside linebacker to allow him to just be a straight-up pass rusher, which is why the Raiders went out and got him, I am on board for that every single day of the week. And, yes, I can confidently sit up here and say I think Crosby and Chandler Jones might be the best duo defensive ends in all of football. But does anybody have confidence in Cleveland Ferrell? Does anybody have confidence in Tyshawn Bauer, Malcolm Kuntz, Gary Green? If your answer to that is yes, you're lying. You can have hope, but you can't honestly have confidence in those guys. So to me, this team still needs depth at defensive end. The reason why Flowers is a big name is because for a 3-year span, there were some people out there that put him up into the category of one of the best defensive ends of all of football. It's why he signed that 6-year, $90 million contract to go to the Detroit Lions. The biggest issue for the Lions was he was hurt. In 2020, 2021, battled a lot of injuries, and it was simple as that. Even in his first year with Detroit, he had an okay season. 51 tackles, 7 sacks, 21 quarterback hits. Do I think that you're ever going to get that type of production again? Probably not. But you know what? If Flowers can give me 15 solid games, he's going to be another player that I believe could get 5, 6 sacks, your third best defensive end. And if it's Trey Flowers, Crosby, Chandler Jones, and the pressure's not on Trey, I'm telling you, I think it would help out a lot. And I also think that Trey and his agent know that coming over to the Raiders is a good fit for him, and he'd be willing to take a little bit less money. Also, no taxes. So we are talking about the defensive line right now. And guess what? I took on a Raiders defensive lineman in an eating competition over the weekend. And if you want to see who won, Between me and Raiders DT Jonathan Hankins and Barcode Burgers Big Frickin' Burger Challenge, we raised over $1,000 for the Just One Project. I'm telling you, go check it out. And if you haven't already, please go subscribe to Hankins' YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/BigTimeHank. I want to get my guy to 1,000 YouTube subscribers, which I'm confident we're probably already there at this point. But you know what? Go check out his videos. He's trying to prepare for after football, which I respect a lot. youtube.com/BigTimeHank. The final player being brought up here in my starting caliber free agent targets for the Raiders, Janoris, which his real name now is Jackrabbit Jenkins. He would be a great veteran addition. And when I say veteran addition, usually when I bring that up at the cornerback position, I always say, hey, remember last year when y'all hated on me for loving the Casey Hayward signing? I'm not saying Jenkins would be at that level of a Casey Hayward signing in terms of how much he would help the defense. But right now, if the season were to start today, there's a good possibility that Jenkins could be a starting cornerback for this team, right? Like, he brings a lot of experience. He's played on teams in the past that have had Patrick Graham on them. Graham was never the straight-up DC, and he's been a good guy who has a lot of game-time experience. In fact, he started at least 9 games every season of his 10-year career. And the reason why he started only 9 games that one year, he got hurt. If he's on the field, he is still a really good player. In fact, I don't know if he's better than Trayvon Mullen right now, but it's at least up for discussion. And Janoris, Jackrabbit, brings that competitive nature, brings the physicality, he's going to bring the toughness, and that's what I'm looking for, and I just want more depth. If you were to tell me we have Trayvon Mullen, Anthony Averett, Nate Hobbs, Amik Robinson, Rocky Sim, Darius Phillips, and then you also throw in the Jackrabbit, that's good secondary. That's good depth, and that's what Patrick Graham, that's what Josh McDaniels want. From a season standpoint last year, he had an overall grade of 65.4 according to PFF, a 75.3 against the run, a pass rushing grade of 73.8, a coverage grade of 64.6. I'll also say this. The Tennessee Titans defense last season was poop, especially in the secondary, and Janoris, he got put in a lot of really difficult situations. He was targeted 90 times, gave up 55 catches, 639 yards, and 6 touchdowns. I believe in this system, with this defense, he would have better numbers and he would take on more of a leadership role, which for a young team, as we saw last season, is a very important thing. So those were 5 players, y'all, that I think right now the Raiders could go out and target, go out and sign them, and they would have a legitimate chance to start for this team. So with the idea of that being said, name a free agent that the Raiders should sign. I know a lot of y'all are going to be like, what about Odell Beckham Jr.? He could start. Yes. Odell Beckham Jr. could start for this team, but I decided to go from a more realistic and more ways to just be realistic. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. So name a free agent that the Raiders could sign, and here is my list. The starting caliber free agent targets. It's Daryl Williams on the offensive line, Ndamukong Suh at defensive tackle, Anthony Barr at linebacker, Trey Flowers defensive end, Jackrabbit Jenkins at cornerback.